All right. So I took some time this past week and I was testing out a new strategy. Um, and this is just kind of a week of review. So some of these trades were not taken. I didn't take all of them because there was a new strategy and it was learning out. So what would happen is whenever I got the right conditions to enter a trade, I would mark it up the same way I would have if I was going to take the trade live. Now I did take some of them, but not all of them. And the idea behind this is that as I uh, did this all week long as it was real time, it allows me to go back the week at the end of the week and say, okay, if I had taken these, where would they have ended and stuff like that. So we'll talk a little bit more about, why I took the trades, what they look like, why I did them, all that good stuff. And then the ones that were losers, we'll go over those too. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as it goes through. And oh, bam. Here we go. So now give me 1 second. I'm going to shrink one thing down. And obviously, I don't do a lot of the streaming stuff for several reasons. All right, so we're actually going to go through, and this week primarily, we focused on what we call the AGB. So we had a bullish AGB for anything ever hit in blue, which were these pairs here. And so the way that this strategy worked is I've got a couple different indicators that I use to go with it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn them on. And it's going to look kind of messy. It just is. And just know I understand that. But so on GJ for the week, we had a win that was a 2-1. We had a win here that was a 2-1. Had a win on that same one that was a 2-1. And then we had a loss here on Friday. So using the strategy from a trading percentage, because the idea for here is looking at this as taking a 0.5% trade. So in other words, on a $100,000 account, if you would have lost the trade, it would have been a $500 trade. If you won the trade, it would have been a 2-1 would have been $1,000, or 1-1 would have been a $500 win. So GJ played out really, really well. It worked on the 1 hour and then also did on the 30-minute as well. So here we'll be able to see, that's why I took that trade there as it was. Which worked out really well in my favor on that one. So GJ was a really good pair to trade this week. And it looks like we're also going to get another week of AGB. If we check down the 4 hour too. Yeah, so we're still good to go on that one. What's really nice is we got this pullback happening now, which is going to give us more room for next week to have some good trades that go with it. So GJ worked out, like I said, pretty well. Had one loss on it out of 4 possible trades. So there's a possible winning combination right there of if it was a $500 risk, $1,000 reward, that's $3,000. Lost 500, so for total for 2,500. And then on GZ, which is pound versus New Zealand dollar, had one trade here that was a 2-1. This trade was a 2-1. This was a 2-1. This was a loss. So once again, same thing. Great overall price action that happened. And then the idea now is, why did this one become a loser? I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we hit this area of resistance up top right here. And that's where we started to go downhill. So in theory, these were really good spots to take trades at. This one came in a little bit later. Wish I'd have got in a little bit sooner on that one, but I didn't. But on this right here, I actually broke out at break even, which would be right here. And that's once again because it went up, had a nice price rejection down off of it. So that would have been out early with only a 0.20 or point quarter gain. So I would have made $250 on that one. And this trade here was another one that I took. Probably shouldn't have taken it because I was already in this one so deep. But same thing, I shouldn't have taken this one because I was already in 2 trades here. But anyway, if I had taken it based on the same parameters, it would have been a loss there. So it would have been 1, 2, 3 wins, 2 losses, and then a small win there. So once again, it still would have been a good trade just because even with 2 losses, you had 3 wins. So it would have been $3,000. 2 losses would only been $1,000 out. So looking at GBP CAD. So this one, in all honesty, it consolidated really, really bad. So I shouldn't have really taken anything on this one. Like, this would have been not a good pair to trade just because it consolidated this entire time. But if, once again, following the same parameters, if I would have taken this trade here, that would have been out early. Small gain on that one just based on the candle rule of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then boop, out because I was in profit. And there's a nice big fat order block. So that's where the sell-off happened. Same thing here. This was a great pullback, but once again, it was on Friday. I don't think Friday's the day to trade anymore at all. Monday and Fridays are out. But same thing here. This would have been out early at break even because it was the end of the week. So I would have gotten out right there, which would have been a break even week just because it was there. And I typically don't carry my trades over. So for GA, we had a win, which is a 2-to-1 here. This one was an out early. Let's see, we go back, we count this one out. So I got in on the 30-minute candle on this one. So if we go back here, when it got in early, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. As in profit, so I stayed in 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that right there, I would have gotten on that one because of the way that we are switching over to this consolidation period. It's better to stay out of consolidation in general as is. So we're sticking on a 30-minute candle here. So that would have been out, or that would have been still a 1-to-1, which is not bad. Then let this nice drop happen. I'm looking for the rebound off of this area here, which had some order blocks that it hit into. And this here would have been a 2-to-1 win. And this one, once again, would have done the same thing of out early on right here. So once again, good idea to get out. So it would have been out early on a 1-to-1. So once again, that'd been a 2-to-1, a 1-to-1, a 2-to-1, and a 1-to-1. So overall, not bad. It looks like this was also going to stick on a AGB this week. Oh, no, actually not. This will be a non-trade this week because it's not where it needs to be yet. One second. Let's do this. One second. Let's do. I think we're going to get bombarded with children here in a minute. But anyway, we'll keep going. So another pair here, which would have been EJ. 2-to-1 win here. 2-to-1 win here. This would have been out early. Once again, these pairs right here would have been out just because of the fact that we're hitting new highs. And when it starts getting that kind of rejection, just cut your trade early. Be done with it. So it would have been a good week. I didn't take anything else. Once again, this would have been a no-go because it's just in this area of resistance and that really high. So just better not to trade those. On Euro CAD. So once again, we don't trade on Mondays. Tuesday came in. This trade got signaled probably on the 30-minute. Let me go back. Oh, no. So this was one, got a 30-minute candle here. And this ended up being a, so we set a pending order, which would have been right here because this long bar happened, which was a massive pull-up. So it came back down. That's why I actually triggered this one was because we set a pending order. It was negative, but then we went, but if we counted it out to the 8 candles, it would have came out to be just barely in profit. So we left it alone. Still, once again, got out early because it was just the same thing. It just started consolidating really bad right there. And there's just no reason to be in a consolidation pair. You just better off get out of it. And then on ECAD here, this would have been the same thing. I got in on a 30-minute candle here. It was a loss, so no big deal. This one here, this was a 30-minute candle too. So we're here. Got in and got out on a 1-to-1, which is great. I'll take that. And on the 30-minute, bam, done. And your AUD. So let's get all this is just gnarly consolidation. We did catch a breakout right here on the 30-minute candle. Or actually, this is a 1-hour candle. Yeah, so we got the call out there on 1 hour. It was a 2-to-1 win. Great. Came back down to here. And this one, because it came this massive drop down, it would have pulled back on the fib. I'm pretty sure this is the fib if we would have went from that high down to that low. Yeah. So would have pulled back to the fib and then started dropping again. So we got out early on the exit signal because it already came back up to the 618. So at the end of that, all those pairs and just kind of looking at it, there were some other trades that happened too, like AUD USD. That was a killer 4-1 on that one. And then did say it came right back down again. So you might as well try your luck a second time. I'm still in this trade. See if we get anything at the first part of the week and see what happens with it. And then there were a couple of other ones I marked out on like gold. I think I stayed out of gold this week. US 30 had one that was in profit. And then I got out once it started consolidating right here on Friday. And then I had a pending order set here, but I actually canceled it out because it never happened. And that late in the day, on a Friday, it just seems like a bad idea. NASDAQ, that was a loss. It took forever, and I consolidated, and I ended up taking an L on that one. And then NASDAQ, I got out early on Friday because once we came up to that small rejection, out. So anyway, all that to say, it was actually a pretty good week through and through. Like if you do the math with the wins and losses and then out earlys and stuff like that, it actually worked out really, really well at the end of everything. But yeah, the strategy worked out well for that one. So I'm excited to see what this week happens and what we come up with. And that's it. Just figure I'd give everyone an update on what it looked like.